All right, boys. Let me get situated here and then hold on, guys. Those who are in here, I'm getting myself situated. It is currently 96 degrees up in here. Definitely not fun, but it'll do. All right. Now here we have everything. Here is the electric start motor right here. We have a few wiring and some other stuff, but first I want to take off the cylinder and check out all that stuff. We're eventually going to go and tear this completely down, balance the crank, as I usually do that before I run my engines. So let me get a few tools. Man, oh man. We got a few people up in here. Thank you so much for watching. As for how much it weighs, I mean, I don't have a regular triple 40 engine in the shop right now, but I don't know, I would say 2 or 3 pounds. I mean, once you add the battery and all that stuff, I mean, it could be significant, but I wouldn't guess any more than 20 pounds once it's all said and done. But how are you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing well. Any fun projects? Cool. As far as everything goes with like the unboxing, I do have an unboxing video that I just posted like a few minutes ago of this. So everything looked pretty good. Yeah, I bet there's a lot of bugs here. As far as everything looks, I mean, you do see that junk in there. The head gasket's a bit boogered up. I'm gonna go and hold on, guys. Let me redo my camera. There we go. Man, hopefully I can salvage this. Well, it's safe to say I need a new head gasket, but that's usual. Yeah. Well, there's no saving that thing. Come on, baby. There we are. Woo! Okay. So we have the cylinder off. One thing I do have to note that I did notice, they actually did lubricate. They did lubricate the inside of this, which is actually really cool, because you don't see that a lot with the cheaper kits. That lever is going to be annoying, but alright, so we do see there is metal shavings. I don't know if that's metal or if that's like paint or whatever, but you do see a little bit of that. That's quite common. Yeah, I know. Seems like China just likes to... I don't know what they do. They don't lubricate, that's for sure. But, I'm going to go ahead and take this clutch off of here. I know, right? There. Now, one thing I did notice, a few people were actually saying that they have messed with this hydraulic clutch, personally. And the one complaint that all of them had was that the throw, before I take this off, the throw of the clutch lever is not very good. So with that being said, it doesn't engage until about here, and then it engages fully in that range of motion. So that is kind of surprising, actually. But if you look down here, man, that lighting is really bad. Hold on. There we go. Alright. That's not really any better. But you see, most hydraulic levers, they have this little... Man, that is really bad lighting. Most of them have this little plunger right here. And so you can actually adjust that. I don't know how much of a difference this will make in terms of fixing that issue with the clutch, where it only grabs like right here. But it will at least make a little difference. But of course we'll see how much of an issue that really is when driving this bike. Yeah, that's for sure. So and of course we'll play around with it. What I'm doing right now is just taking this entire thing apart so I can, I can look at everything, see how the ignition system and the clutch looks, and of course the starter here. See how all that looks. And then we'll upgrade the bearings, balance the crank. But as you can see here, this is the hydraulic clutch. And man, and as you can see, this is the piston. This entire thing moves. As you can see, check how much that moves. That moves not much at all. So that's very surprising. That actually does not move, like really at all. So I'll look to see when we're putting it all back together how much this adjustment really makes on this, and I'll let you guys know. But hold on a minute. I need to find my magnetic bowl. Alright, boys. Yeah, we're getting more in here. Yeah, and of course, I mean, I'll try bleeding it again. I'll try bleeding it before I do any of that adjustments. But of course, I probably can't bleed any better than the children working at the Chinese factories. But I'll try. Yeah. Yeah, so that might be a pro. When I looked at the hydraulic clutch, just like mechanical versus hydraulic brakes, pros being you don't really have to adjust them a whole lot. You don't have to deal with like the cable tension and the cable stretching. You also don't really need to worry about corrosion and, you know, stripping the threads and all that stuff. But you do need to worry more about regular maintenance, like bleeding the system, and all that fun stuff. Oh man, these things are on tight, boys. Ugh. Would help if I got a bigger wrench. Yeah, boys. So I know, right? Watch some guy just tear down a stupid motorized bike engine. Like, that's unique. There we go, boys. Feast your eyes. Man, okay. So, what we have here looks like a regular bottom end. Looks like this is actually part of the case. And if you can see that, the starter does not actually engage. It's fully engaged, always. So that being said, the starter could actually work as a generator. So that's pretty cool. So let's tear this down further. So if you guys don't know, motors, like let's say printer motor or RC car motors. And this doesn't go for every motor. Hold on real quick. This doesn't go for every motor, but if you put current through them, if you put voltage through them, hook them up to a battery, they'll spin. If you spin them manually, they generate current. So with that being said, when power gets put towards this starter through the starting solenoid, it'll start the engine, but when it's running and power's not going to the starter, it'll actually generate power. So that's pretty cool. That's how I thought it would be, but I was not quite sure. Need a longer screwdriver. I honestly don't understand what a Bendix is. But yeah, extra like lighting coils would actually be dope. But with that being said, I'm honestly planning on just hooking up a lighting system directly to the battery. So that way I can run turn signals and all that fun jazz. Alright, let's see if we can get this off here. Oh, man. So here's the starter, boys. Looks similar. I wonder if this is even if the starter or this entire starting like assembly here is universal with other things. Yeah, you have to have a battery. The starter connects to the battery. Yeah, there's the battery, and then you have a starter solenoid and all that fun jazz. Man. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I'm not super great with wiring and whatnot, but on it. I'm trying the right size for those. No, I'm just finding compared to the regular China doll, all the hardware is different sized Allen keys. So I'm just trying to find the right one. I'll be right back, boys. Do you know where that multi-tool is for the keys?
We pulled it out first. I don't know. Look in, underneath there, there's a box. I thought it was the basement. It might be in there.
Yes. Thanks, Mom.
Can you grab a couple of groceries out of the back of the truck, please?
Alright, boys. I have to help my mom with groceries. I'll be right back. Alright. Yeah, so the one reason why I can see your last few posts, your last few chats. The reason why I went with this engine instead of others, people were saying, oh, just buy the Avenger, just buy the BT80 that has a better clutch, whatever. I bought this one because it's unique. It's unique in the fact that it wasn't completely designed for, I don't know, it uses a solid base, definitely has more aftermarket support. Nobody's really looked into this exact engine, so I thought I'll give it a try. Centrifugal clutch, honestly, not my cup of tea. If you don't know, I mean, I'm a big heavy boy. Centrifugal clutches, even on like the 212s and stuff, they just slip too much for my liking, going up hills and whatnot. So I like the manual clutches better. Now as for upcoming modifications for this engine, I want to get it together and built, tuned, broken in, and running good before I do really any major performance upgrades. But I am looking at Um, you might have seen on Facebook and Amazon, they have kind of like imitation Minerelli kits that use the stock China doll exhaust flange. I'm interested in that, so I think that would be a good candidate to use for this. And then get an actual, like, genuine MZ65 pipe and do some other stuff. As far as the ignition system, the magneto, all that stuff just looks like the standard one. But yep. Now, of course, like regular fashion, I'm going to go ahead and cut this white wire completely off. Because it's, especially on this bike, especially on this engine, that it has a built-in, that the starter doubles as a stator. This white wire is just literally useless. Alright. I know, it's boring for me too. Alright, see you, Lowell. Alright, before I do anything else, I'm cutting this white wire. Daggone it. Now, while I'm doing this, I want to explain it so those who don't understand now or in the future will understand. This white wire here is supposedly supposed to power lights or whatever, what have you. And so, that's cool and all, but the main issue is that it's taking it directly from, exactly from the magneto. And so, if you take any sort of power from that, it just takes it straight from the ignition system. And so that would be okay if it kind of amplified the ignition, but it literally doesn't do that. And so unless it only takes, whatever you plug into that wire only takes, say, like half a volt or 1 volt, it would completely kill the engine. I mean, I tried it when I was a wee lad, and it didn't really work. the engine barely idled just because it had no spark. Exactly. You want as much spark as you can get. Alright. So this is my little method. Alright. Put the magnet over there. Don't want it getting all dusty. Now, one thing I do notice, they did definitely lubricate the bucking bar. They lubricated the cylinder, which is great. They didn't lubricate the back seal. So I don't know. I don't know if that comes standard or what, but eh. Now, let's remove this bad boy right here. All right, 19 millimeter. Yeah, boys. Now let's get the crank puller. Wherever that is. Hold on, let me find it. Got it. All right, now this is a very crucial part. A lot of people just raw dog it. Nah, you gotta take some just engine oil. Don't use WD-40, just put a little drop in there just so you can lubricate it. There you go. Alright. Now you do the same thing with this bad boy right here. Lubricate it just a little bit, just a drop. Put that down in there. Alright. Now we get this nut in place right here. So that holds it all in there so we can tighten it. Thank you, Mr. Nut. Now, I'm gonna hurt myself if I do it by hand, so I'm getting a little persuasion. Gone. All right, I have a small impact. I'm not using my huge one because I really don't want to put unneeded stress on these threads. Let's give it some a little rugga-dugga action. All right, got that going. Hold on 1 second, boys. Man, I think I broke my back. Oh, man. Okay. So we got that bad boy off there. We did. Now we're going to remove. Sorry guys, I keep bumping this chair. Now we're going to remove the clutch. Now I should have waited to remove the clutch plate and done this before I took off the clutch, but we're gonna do this instead. We're gonna press it by hand. Hold on, boys. Take on it. Well, boys, I gotta say, I've done this before, but I'm very forgetful. I'm sorry guys, this is really not exciting. You're watching a man struggle. But, I mean, it's working. It's working, boys! Great. Well, that was the slowest 3 minutes of my life. Standard clutch plate. Oh, it came with the somewhat upgraded clutch pads. Let's get this bad boy off here. Oh yeah. Oops, I forgot. Now guys, I know I'm doing this in not the right order. I know, you don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to put a little more lube on this bad boy. Because that boy needs it, you know what I'm saying? Lubrication makes the world go round. No matter how you look at it, you know? And please don't take that out of context. Now you want to have it tight, you don't want to have it too tight. If you have it too tight, you won't be able to get it off. But if you have it not tight enough, it'll just rip out your spokes like it's, or rip out your threads like it's nothing. Alright, let's give this a little rip. Came off there like butter. Oh man, guys. Looks like my phone is running dead. Yeah, I know, they are terrible. I bought new ones, but when it comes to these or the little ceramic ones, I'll take these all day. Oh, that ain't good. Alright. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, Blue Sheep. I'm just doing what I think is fun. And I hope to help people along the way. Alright. Now, I said this before. I plan on doing a few upgrades to this bike later, after I have it broken in, tuned, and running well. So, hopefully I can do a few videos before that. Then again, a few people were getting on me they were saying, oh, well, the Avenger 85 is so much better of an engine. Yes, I completely agree. But when it comes down to 50 people, 50, hundreds of people liking one engine, and then there's an engine that also has potential, but nobody has any reviews on it or any information whatsoever, I'd rather take a chance on the second option and enlighten a few people, if you will. So with that being said, this engine, this project is for you guys. Okay. There you go. Man, I'll tell you what, boys. It's getting later. It's 5 o'clock here and it's still 94 degrees about. Not fun, but still quite fun. Alright. Now we can start actually ripping this thing apart. And there goes my stinking keyway. Who could have guessed? Guys, 1 in a million chance. I found it. I found the keyway that flew across my garage. You ask anyone and they'll say I'm the luckiest man alive. The luckiest or the stupidest. I argue with both. Alright. Without further ado, there's one circlip. Push the wrist pin out the other direction. Let's get the wrist pin bearing out of there. Now that's actually very cool because they did lubricate this quite well. So that's good job to you. Whatever 9-year-old assembled this engine. Let's remove this base gasket here. All right, now we can take these bolts out. For the windowed piston, I mean it's not a windowed piston. As far as taking it out, I'm guessing, sure. So I took the circlip out of the piston. I took it and I pulled it out and I twisted it out. I don't know. You can watch clearer videos on it. And then of course I just slipped the wrist pin out. Boom. That's probably not what you wanted, but whatever. Yes. So in the future, when I do a windowed piston, I will show exactly how you do that. Look up Keegan Hashe on YouTube. Keegan, Keegan, and then his last name is Hache. And he has a fantastic uh, video series where he took a standard China doll triple 40 engine with the G4 cylinder and he ported it and all that stuff, ran a reed valve, and he shows you exactly how to window your piston and do port work and all that stuff. As far as the windowed piston itself, you do not want to window your piston unless you are running a reed valve. So if you do window your piston and you are not running a reed valve, you're running the standard intake port, the intake piston port, your engine will run terribly. I don't even think it will run at all. So with that being said, definitely do your research before you start jumping into anything. Man, these bolts are tough. Now, as far as the quality of all the hardware and stuff, I'm honestly impressed. I mean, granted, a lot of these Chinese kits have been coming out, well, they're all Chinese, but a lot of these nicer kits have been coming out with, like, the Allen wrench, or the Allen keyed hardware for a while now, but I've never had a engine with this like high quality hardware. I mean, usually these screws just strip out insanely easily. Usually these three bolts aren't even Allen keyed, they're just Phillips head. So that's pretty cool. Other stuff such as, I did notice this seal right here is actually like ruptured, but other than that, this is actually looking like a really good high quality kit. So, but of course we will see about that once we get it the rest of the way split down the middle. Now we are at an hour mark right now. I know that's kind of dumb. It's taken me 20 minutes, 15 minutes to do the same work, but I am talking. I'm enjoying the process, answering questions. But I also wish it wasn't so dang hot. Yeah, boys. Now, I'm going to get my rubber mallet. Start hitting. Hold on, boys. Oh! Whacked myself in the nuts. Oh my goodness. Oh! 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 Hold on, guys. Let me get a drink real quick. Alright, boys. I'm back. Yo! Azariah's in the house. What's up, bro? We got a new engine that we're putting on a bike at some point. Got that half taken apart. Daggone it. What in the world? Alright, it's separating, boys. It is for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Clutch shaft is off there. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to get that unseated so it'll slip out. Ah. Oh. And we got it, boys. Well, we got it most of the way, at least. Woot! Okay, that took a lot more banging and stuff than what I anticipated. Yo, we got a lot of good conversation in the chat. Good job on you. The bearings actually look very good. Actually, I don't even think I Yeah, I just got the bearings today. I'll replace them. I'll upgrade them. As far as one thing I find myself kicking my butt in for not doing is make sure you put a nut on these threads right here so you don't mess them up. There you go. Your standard ZL40 rod crank. It just looks standard. Crank weights look a little bit thicker than maybe a traditional like eBay kit. I don't know, but let's start marking it so we can balance it, all that good stuff. So I will be right back. All right, so to balance your crank, yada yada yada, you find the center of these two holes, which is about 20 millimeters. So half it, that's 10 millimeters. Take it about right there. Then you find the width of the crank weight. Width of the crank weight is 16 millimeters. You half that, so that's 8 millimeters. There's a little hole right there. Do that to the other side. So that's 10 millimeters. Right there. And then 8 millimeters. Right there. Okay, so that's the middle. That's the middle hole right there. The next two holes will be on both sides of these, similarly spaced. So space it 10 millimeters to the side as well for this hole. Now, one thing that I can't stress enough, this thing does not need to be perfect. I mean, if you drill your hole 1 millimeter out, or you drill it, you know, whatever, you drill it one half of a millimeter too deep, you don't have to scratch your entire crank. We're doing this mainly because these cranks are just terrible straight out of the gate. So just by taking material off, no matter how much, well, you can't take too much, but even if you just take a little bit off, it's much better than it is stock. So with that being said, there's a lot of room for error. So, and one thing I tell new beginners, a lot of this stuff is made out to be a lot harder than it really is. I mean, balancing your crank, granted, you do need to do a little bit of work completely tearing down your entire engine in order to remove the crank. But as far as actually balancing your crank, you just really need to drill holes through it. So you don't just drill holes straight through it like a maniac. You measure it. So I'm reading about 15 millimeters is the width of this crank weight. And so I would drill through it and leave about 3 millimeters on the back plate. You really don't want to drill through that and hit that connecting rod. So leave about 3 millimeters. Drill the center one with a 1/2 inch drill bit, and then drill these 5/16, I believe, and you got yourself. The center one, 1/2 inch. Leave about 3 millimeters of material on the back of that crank weight. On these, both of these 5/16, drill them about 5 millimeters deep. With that being said, and doing that on both sides, you have a very well balanced crank compared to stock. I mean, if you're doing this on a Minarelli, it'll run much better. But if you're doing this on a super high-end race bike, you definitely want to whip out your scale and measure your piston, your piston rings, the rod, and put all that into the equation to balance it perfectly. But for what we're doing with just a low revving China doll that probably will not see anywhere beyond like 10,000 RPM, this is completely fine. Now I'm honestly going to stop the live right here. I need to do a few things, but with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the support that you guys have shown me, subscribing to the channel, watching this live stream, even leaving comments that I can answer your questions and help you guys out, even if it seems like, I'm writing essays for you guys. I love it. So thank you guys. So have a great day.